Module 1 in organizational. Module 1, nature and concept of management. What is management? It is the process of reaching organizational goals by working with and through people and other organizational resources. Management has the following three characteristics. Number one is that it is the process of series of continuing and relating activities. It involves concentrates on reaching organizational goals. It is number three. It research this goal by working with the true people and other organizational resources. Management function, the basic for management function that make up the management process are described in the following sections. Number one is planning. Number two is leading, influencing. Number three, organizing. Number four, controlling. Number five is staffing. So, what is planning? This involves choosing that must be performed to attain organization goals, outlining how the task must be performed, and indicating when they should be performed. What is leading? Okay, leading is the use of influence to motivate employees to achieve organizational goals. By Richard Drafts, manager must be able to make employees want to participate in achieving an organizational goals. So what is organizing? This can be thought of as assigning the task development in the planning stage to various individuals or group within the organizations. Organizing is to create a mechanism to put plans into action. Next one is what is controlling. Controlling is the following rules played by the manager. Number one is gather information that measures information, and number two is compare present performance to pre-established performance norms. Number three is determine the next action plan and motivation for meeting the desired performances parameters. Controlling is an ongoing process. Next one is staffing. So the staffing function of the management pertains to recruitment, selection, training, development, appraisal, and remuneration of personnel. It is the duty of every manager to perform this function. The responsibility for the efficient planning and executions for staffing functions rests upon every manager at all levels. Evolution of management theories. The evolution of management thoughts, it's a process that started in the early days of man. It began since the period man saw the need to live in groups. Mighty men were able to organize masses, share them into various groups. The sharing was done according to the masses' strength, mental capacities, and intelligence. The pre-scientific management period. Entrepreneur had access to all the factors of production such as land, labor, and capital. There was to make an effort to combine these factors to achieve or targeting goal successfully. So, what is the classical theory? During the classical period, management thoughts was focused on job content, standardization, and division of labor, and a scientific approach toward the organization. It also was closely related to the industrial revolution as well as the rise of large-scale enterprises. The new classical theory. This period of evolution of management thoughts in an improvement of the classical theory. In other words, it's modified and improved upon the classical theory. The bureaucratical clean up. Sorry, my messenger nagpop. The bureaucratic model, a German sociology called Max Weber proposed at this model, and it includes a system of rule divisions of labor and the functions, establishing legal authority and power, the author of authority and placement of employees based on their technical competence. So the next one is function of manager. Staffing. After a manager discerns his areas needs, he may decide to beef up in staffing by recruiting and electing, training the development employees. Role of manager. What is it? Roles performed by manager. A manager wears many hats. Not only is a manager team leader, but he or she is also a planner, organizer, cheerleader, coach, problem solver, and decision maker, all roll into one. These are just few manager roles. The nature of managerial work. Henry Misbridge described a set of 10 rules that manager feels. These rules fall into three categories. Interpersonal. This rule involve human interaction information. This rule involve the sorry fall into three categories. Number one is interpersonal. These rules involves human interaction performed. This rule involves the sharing and analysis of information. Number two is decisional. These rules involve decision making, and is the skill of manager. What is this? Not everyone can be manager. Certain skills or abilities to translate knowledge into action that result in desired performance are required to help other employees become more productive. So next, technical. What is this? This skill requires the ability to use the special proficiency or expertise to perform particular tasks. Accountant, engineer, market researchers, and computer science as example possess technical science. Skill human. These skills demonstrate the ability to work well in cooperation with others. Human skill emerge in the workplace as spirit of trust. Next, conceptual. These skills calls for the ability to think analytically. Analytically skills enable manager to break down problems into a smaller part, to see the relations among the part, and recognize the applications of the one problems for others. Module number 2. The firm in its environment. Okay, so what is environmental force? Okay, internal environmental force factor. The internal factors refers to anything within the company and under the control of the company, no matter whether they are tangible. These factors, after being figured out, are grouped into strengths and weaknesses of the company. If one element brings positive effects to the company, it's considered as a strength. There are 14 types of internal environment factors. Number 1 is plan and policies. Number 2 is values preposition. Number 3, human resource. 4, financial and marketing resources. Number 5, corporate image and brand equity. 6, plant equipment, or you can say physical asset. Number 7, labor management. Number 8, interpersonal relationship with employees. Number 9, internal technology resources and dependencies. Number 10, organizational structure or in some code of conduct. Number 11, quality insights and infrastructure. Number 12, task executions or operation. Number 13, financial forecast. Number 14, the founder relationship and the decision making power. So next one is internal environmental factors. On the contrary to the internal factor, external element are affecting factor outside and under no control of the company. Types of internal environmental force: micro factor and macro factors. So first, the micro factor. Number Number 1, customer. Number 2, input or supplier. Okay, number 3 is competitors. Number 4 is public. Number 5 is marketing and media. Number 6 is talent. The next one is macro factor. Number 1 is economic. Number 2, political, illegal. Number 3, technology, and 4, social, and 5, national resources. Environmental scanning. What is it? It is the process of gathering information about events and the relationships within an organization's internal and external environments. The local and international business environmental frame. The definition of business environment means all the internal and external factors that affect how the company functions, including employees, customers, management, supply the demand, and business regulation. The most important difference between domestic and international business are classified as under number 1, strategic mindset. Number 2, effective environment scanning. Number 3 is due diligence and analysis. Number 4 is strengthen the business. And next, the Filipino way of doing business is influenced by East and West. It is by mean some frontier relationship. Filipino do like a polite reply with a smile. Phase of economic developments. Okay, economic development, it is the process by which a nation improves the economic, political, and social well-being of its people. Next, economic development can be defined as effort that seek to improve the economic well-being and quality for community by creating and or retaining jobs and supporting or growing incomes and the tax base. Next is the human capital base. What is it? It is a measure of the economic value of an employee's skill set, refers to the knowledge, skill sets, and motivation that people have which provide economic value. It could be invested in through education, training, and enhanced benefits that lead to an improvement in the quality and level of productions. Module number 3. Okay, next, planning. What is planning again? Planning is nothing but thinking before the action takes place. It helps us to take a future and decide in advance the way to deal with the situation which we are going to encounter in future. It involves logical thinking and rational decision making. So next, planning techniques and tools. Forecasting. So forecasting is the process of predicting what will happen in the future. Almost every plan involves forecast of some sort. Of economists regularly report forecast of economic condition, interest rates, unemployed, and trade deficit, among other issues. And next, contingency planning. It identifies alternative course action that can be implemented to meet the need of changing circumstances, although it is not possible for everyone to predict when things will go wrong. Okay, next is scenario planning. It involves identifying several alternative future scenarios that may occur. Plans make to deal with each scenario as it's occur. Bench planning. It is a technique that uses external comparisons to better evaluate one's current performances and identify possible action for the future. The purpose of it is find out what other people or organizations are doing well at the plan, how to incorporate these ideas into one's own operation. Next, participation and involvement. Include in all planning steps the people who will be affected by the plans and or who will be asked to help implement them. This process brings many benefits to the organizations. Next is use of staff planning. Okay, staff planners are employed to help coordinate planning for the organization as a whole or for one of its major components. They help bring focus and energy to accomplish important planning tasks. So, the lastly is decision making. So, decision making is an integral part of modern management. Essentially, rational or sound decisions making is taken as primary function of management. Every manager takes hundreds and hundreds of decisions subconsciously or consciously, making it as the key component in the role of manager. Okay, module number 4. Leading naman tayo. So, what is leading? Leading consists of motivating employees and influencing their behavior or achieve organizational objective. Leading focuses on managing people such as individual employees, teams and group rather than tasks. A motivational leadership inspires their team with passion. They make people feel valued by investing time and learning about their prioritized strengths and needs. Okay, next, organizational. Organizational intelligence is the capacity of an organization to create knowledge and use it to strategically adapt to its environment or marketplaces, tasks, products, and employees' profits, centers, and processes today. Next, knowledge. Okay, a knowledge organizational is a management idea describing an organizational in which people use systems or processes to generate, transform, management, use, and transfer knowledge-based product as a service to achieve organizing goals. Next is collaborative. Collaborative management can be defined as a collection of various management techniques that enlighten a sense of unity and teamwork among managers, superiors, and employees within a business organization. Synergy. Synergy is when two organizations interact or cooperate to produce a combined effect that is greater than the sum of its separate parts. And leadership theories. Leadership theories are explanation of how and why certain people become leaders. Okay, contingency theory of leadership is a very special kind of approach which states that the success of the leader does not only depend on his abilities. Next one is trait. Trait theorists are primarily interested in the measurement of traits, which can be defined as habitual patterns of behavior, thoughts, and emotions. And the next one is relationship. Relationships-oriented leadership theory describes a leader who is primarily motivated by a concern with her interaction with people. And next is great man. The great man theory of leadership states that some people are born with the necessary attributes that set them apart from another, and that these traits are responsible for their assuming positions of power and authority. And the next one is situational. Approach to leaders advocating the leaders understanding their own behavior, the behavior of their subordinates, and the situation before utilizing a particular leadership style. So, behavior. There are behavior determinants of leadership which can be lead. People can be trained to be detected leaders, knowledge and experience. Next is participant. What is that? Participative leadership theory suggests that the ideal leadership style is one that takes the input of others into account. Next, management. What is it? Management theories are concepts surrounding recommended management strategy, which may include tools such as frameworks and guidelines that can be implemented in modern organizations. The next one is communication. It's defined as inspiring and encourage an individual or a group by systematic and meaningful sharing of information by using excellent communication skills. Uh, the next one is why communication is important in leadership. Okay, to cultivate a sense of trust in the workplace through the message coming from the leaders, keeping employees engaged. Management of change and diversity gives you knowledge about work in dynamic organizations in a global environment characterized by diversity, strategy, complexity, and constant change. So, management of change (MOC) is a systematic approach to dealing with the transition or transformation or the organization's goals and processes. Filipino and foreign culture. Filipino-owned organizations exhibit a different organizational culture as compared to their foreign counterparts. Okay, the three primary Filipino values. Number one is social acceptance. Okay, desire of Filipinos to be accepted and treated well by others in according with his her status for what she is and what she has accomplished. Number two is economic security. One must have financial stability and that she must be able to stand on he own 2 feet. Social mobility, desired and move to social ladder higher, economic level higher, job position of respect and family of community which she belongs. Number three is Filipino belief. Number one is the Mananya habit. Number two, ninjas Kuban. Number two is Filipino time. Foreign influence. Number one is gender egalitarianism, refer to the amount of effort which must be put into minimizing gender discrimination and role inequalities. Number two is assertiveness, refers to have a confrontations and dominant individuals should be in social relationship. Number three is performance orientation, refers to how much individuals should be rewarded to improvement and excellent. Number four is human orientation, refers to how much a society should encourage and reward people for being kind, fair, friendly, and generous.